Hello and welcome to 2019, and this is a bit of a copycat video, I'll be honest, because 2 Cents Rugby and then also the Unbiased Rugby both have done a what are they planning to do in 2019 and a shout out to the other YouTube guys that they like and watch. So you know what, why don't I do the same, especially if they both gave me a shout out, so thanks guys for doing that. 2019, what's it going to bring? Let's see. For Driving More, we're going to keep up the 3 channels. So I've got my Driving More channel that you're watching right now, which is where we'll have most of the post-game reactions, opinion pieces. It's the home of the Hash Rugby chat, and also we'll also be doing Super Rugby previews, reviews, post-match reactions to all sorts of games, particularly international, and Super Rugby will be the main focus, to be honest, for that side of things. We'll have the Driving More Rugby predictions. They'll still do predictions across all of the professional games, and also bringing in predictions. I'll include in my Six Nations predictions for the women's Six Nations as well, and I'll also try and do the Junior Rugby World Championship, which I think is down in Argentina this year. Then there's the All Blacks edition, which will continue with news flashes or breaking news. The All Blacks edition on Thursday night, and also post-match reaction to all of the All Blacks games. And that's what's going to happen on YouTube. Away from YouTube, you'll see I do have a podcast where the Hash Rugby chat, some of the Super Rugby stuff, and the All Blacks edition gets posted as well. So if you prefer to listen on the go rather than watch, then you can go over there and check out my podcast. It's on iTunes and all those sort of places. I've also got the website, which will mainly be hosting predictions and my YouTube videos. Then also I'll be doing writing for the Runner Sports as well, where I'm a lead, a freelance lead rugby writer. Freelance, but I don't make any money out of it yet. I need to get more views. So please do go over there and check out the Runner Sports rugby pages as well. Then the big new thing, so I mean, all that kind of stuff that I've been doing last year. The Runner Sports stuff came in towards the end of the year, but the writing, the videos, the podcast, that's all been going on for a while now. And if you like that stuff, you can obviously support it via my Patreon page, patreon.com/drivingmore. But the new big thing that we're going to be doing this year is events. So I've already organised one event in Auckland and one event in Hamilton around Super Rugby games. Now we're still finalising some of the pieces, so their marketing hasn't gone out yet, but look out for those. There'll be one up there. So you're working with Waitemata Rugby Club up in Auckland. If you follow me on Twitter, you'll have seen that I was there the other day, and I'm also working with a venue in Hamilton as well. So some exciting things to happen there on the events side of things, and there's a couple of other things that I'm working on that may or may not happen. So unfortunately, sorry, I can't give you a heads up about those just yet. But if they do, wow, that could mean I actually get to go full time on this, which would be absolutely amazing, obviously. So that's my plans for the year. Is basically that. Because I don't know how those other things are going to happen. I don't know what I'm going to do around the Rugby World Cup yet, but I expect to be doing previews, reviews, and also post-match reactions all the way through the Rugby World Cup. So, and definitely predictions as well. So keep an eye out for all of that kind of stuff. Obviously, that'll be across all 3 YouTube channels, and obviously, I expect to probably be doing some writing about it as well. So, yeah, lots of stuff going on around the Rugby World Cup. I guess a lot of people say, "Oh, you must see it as a great opportunity when these big events come around." Yes and no. Yes, because there's more people looking at stuff. But you'll also find that every single media outlet will put all of their generalist sports writers on to rugby for the duration of the Rugby World Cup. And so you'll find that the volume and the noise of content out there just goes through the roof. And so to actually get heard above that becomes very difficult. So in some ways, actually, some of the lesser tournaments, things like Mitre 10 Cup or Super Rugby, where there is less noise and less content, but then less viewers, you can actually sometimes make a bigger impact in those spaces than you can actually in the Rugby World Cup. So we'll see what happens. It will be fun to watch. I'll enjoy it. But do I expect a massive peak, spike in viewers and all that kind of stuff? Probably not, because as I say, there's been so much noise and other people doing stuff. So let's get on to the YouTubers that I respect and watch and all of that kind of stuff. And first up, obviously, we're going to go with 2 Cents Rugby. Here's a guy who has taken his, I think his channel is about a year old now. And he sits down in front of a whiteboard and talks about rugby with in relatively short form videos. He does previews, reviews, and then also hits and talks about hot topics as well. Really enjoyed his stuff. So check out 2 Cents Rugby. He's based here in Auckland. I met him once up at an Auckland rugby game. Hopefully catch up with him again, and would love to do some collabs with him. So thanks for the shout out from him. Unbiased Rugby, the other guy who's given me a shout out. Again, someone else based in South Africa, a Bulls supporter who's going to be doing some Bulls-centric stuff. So some of it's not going to be unbiased, but on the whole, unbiased. Does a lot of stuff with his dad as well. Similar to 2 Cents in some ways, but yeah, previews, reviews, and talking about key news as well. Obviously, with a South African point of view rather than a New Zealand centric view. And I think he's reached 1,000 subscribers. So congratulations there, because you're now into the monetization section, which is great. Yeah, until you get to 1,000 views, you can't actually. 1,000 subscribers, you can't monetize and make a bit of money out of the ads. Now, to be honest, look, you don't make a lot of money out of it. You need to be getting up to hundreds of thousands, millions of views before that's going to really kick in and make it any kind of sustainable thing. But hey, it's nice to get a bit of money, and it helps pay for little bits of kit and things like that, or other subscriptions that we all have. Other ones have been based out in New Zealand. You've got the 1014 Rugby, who a couple of guys who do some very in-depth, the most professional kind of setup as far as their production value goes. I mean, I think they have a bit of video background, which is good for them. Met them during the Lions tour, actually. Met one of them during the Lions tour and did a post-match review with one of them. I've done a post-match review with Unbiased Rugby, so hopefully do some more collaboration with him as well. The 1014 also been on Sky Sports over here in New Zealand, and I say they're sporadic. The first two guys both post on a very regular basis, whereas the 1014 much more sporadic, taking much more effort, much more work goes into their pieces, to be fair, and that's why they look a lot more professional. So they're taking a break and reviewing what they're going to be doing for 2019, but expect them to be doing stuff around the Six Nations and the Rugby World Cup, and probably the Rugby Championship as well. So basically, mainly international stuff I expect to be coming out of them, but they're worth a watch. Also from New Zealand, there's Cornflakes Crib, who does stuff around rugby games mainly. Hope to get him back on my channel to talk about Super Rugby, but most of his stuff is around rugby computer games. So if you're into that kind of stuff, check him out. We've got got End Games, which used to be, I've forgotten what he used to call his channel, Henry. But anyway, he interviewed me, and I think he's still trying to figure out what he's doing with his channel. He's trying to write a book at the moment about rugby. So, but when he does do content, is also very good and knows his stuff. So check out End Games. Going overseas, who do we have? Obviously, Gareth Mason, G-Man out of South Africa, is another guy who has really grown his channel. He's hit 10,000 subscribers now, which is fantastic. So well done to him. Again, a lot of stuff looking at Super Rugby and the international games in particular. He stands up and talks in front of a white wall. So again, short formish kind of stuff. The 1014, I guess, gone for about 40 odd minutes. So they can be quite long form things. Over in the UK, from a YouTubing point of view, GLove39 does some great stuff. He does some stop motion animation. So yeah, do go and check his stuff out. Some very funny stuff done by him. And then also Squidge Rugby in the UK as well. He's doing some good. He's doing again, a sporadic guy, heavily edited stuff, very funny, very quick, more entertainment, perhaps more, but also with a lot of rugby analysis in there as well. And he's looking at all the Super Rugby teams sorry, no, all the Rugby World Cup teams, giving you a background into them. So check his stuff out as well. Who have I forgotten? I'm not sure. Those Gift Time Rugby for the USA side of things. So go and have a look at his stuff. His stuff is kind of funny. He's actually cycling from Singapore to Japan. I think that's official. I think that's announced for the Rugby World Cup. So check out his stuff. If you like USA stuff, then Rugby Wrap Up also is there, so you can check his stuff out. That's most of the guys that I watch. I think across this kind of stuff on YouTube. Occasionally touch on Raw Rugby again. I think they've got a bit of a deal with Rugby Pass, so you can not Rugby Pass, sorry, wrong one. The Rugby Pod, so you get Andy Good and stuff on there occasionally, as well as game stuff that they do. So there you go. Those are all the YouTube channels that I touch in on. I'll be honest, I'm much more. I prefer to listen than to watch. So you'll see that I actually listen to a lot of podcasts. Things like the More Over Rugby, which I've been on, the Egg Chasers podcast, Green and Gold Rugby, the Attacking Scrum. Who else is there? God, geez. There's about 7 or 10. I should probably quickly look that up. Podcasts I listen to, Blood and Mud is on my list. Attacking Scrum I mentioned. The Rugby Roundup. The Thistle podcast. Yeah, so the Rugby Dungeon as well. So if you like to listen to your stuff, there's a lot of good rugby content out there on podcasts as well. So there you go. That's a wrap up of what I'm planning to do in 2019, and a whole bunch of other channels that you can also check out as well. I believe a lot of collaboration rather than competition, so I think there's plenty of you guys wanting to watch rugby stuff, and there's plenty of good stuff out there to watch. So don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and the YouTube algorithm says that you will like those 2 videos over there as well, so do go out and check those out.